The wrapping paper was still whispering when he said it. Everyone had something in their hands: boxes, bags, ribboned promises, while mine were empty on the table, palms open like a mistake. My father's smile sharpened. He leaned back, eyes skating over me, and shrugged. "Oh," he said, savoring it. "I forgot you." Laughter cracked around the table. A cousin coughed it into a napkin. Someone reached for more wine. I felt the heat rise behind my eyes and stopped it. He wanted the tear. He wanted the scene. So I picked up my phone. "Okay," I said, calm enough to scare myself. "Time to call Santa." The room went quiet. My father's smirk twitched. I hit dial, and that's when the night tipped. I used to believe loyalty was a currency. I spent it freely. I showed up early, stayed late, paid bills quietly, swallowed comments meant to bruise. When Mom died, I became the hinge that kept the door from slamming. I moved back in. I managed the paperwork. I smoothed the fights, translated his anger into something tolerable for everyone else. He took it as proof I'd never leave. He liked to test me in public. Little jokes, casual humiliations, too sensitive, lighten up. He framed cruelty as humor and taught the room to laugh so they wouldn't be next. Gratitude turned into expectation. Expectation hardened into entitlement. I wasn't a child anymore. I was infrastructure. Invisible, replaceable, unthanked. Still, I stayed. Christmas mattered to him because it was an audience. He performed generosity like a magician. Palms, coins, flashy, distracting, hiding the trick. I watched him rehearse his smile in the hallway mirror that morning. I should have known. The gifts were thoughtful, painfully so. A watch for my brother he couldn't afford. A scarf my aunt had mentioned once. My father knew how to hit the bullseye. Then he skipped me. The table waited. He didn't correct it. He let the silence stretch until it hurt, then broke it with that line. "I forgot you like I was a coat left at a restaurant." Something inside me went still, not numb, focused. I realized then that he wasn't careless. He was precise. This was the ultimate line because it was public. He wanted the story to be that I didn't matter, and he wanted witnesses. I felt the last thread snap. Loyalty bled out quietly. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I didn't cry. Silence can be surgical if you hold it right. My mind cataloged the house, the accounts, the signatures I'd handled, the emails I'd archived, the patterns he assumed were invisible, the way he moved money like furniture, believing it belonged to him because he'd always decided where it went. My phone vibrated once. The call connected. I spoke softly because quiet travels farther than anger. "I need to verify something," I said. "Yes, tonight." I met my father's eyes and smiled back at him. He misread it as defeat. That's the danger of arrogance. It edits reality to flatter itself. I didn't raise my voice. I raised receipts. First move, confirmation. The call wasn't to a myth. It was to the attorney who drafted my mother's trust, the one my father thought he'd outgrown. I asked for a refresh. He gave it to me, clean and clinical. Second move, timing. I didn't leave the table. I let dessert arrive. I let him bask. Strategy thrives on patience. Third move, leverage. I opened the folder I'd kept for emergencies. Power of attorney doesn't mean ownership. It means responsibility. And responsibility leaves tracks. Fourth move, exposure. I didn't accuse. I asked questions out loud. "Dad, did you mean to transfer from the trust this month?" Calm, curious, neutral. He waved it off. "Of course." I slid my phone across the table. Screen lit. Dates, amounts, notes he'd forgotten to erase. Fifth move, witnesses. The room leaned in. Curiosity is louder than loyalty. Sixth move, consequence. "That transfer," I said, triggered a review. It pauses discretionary spending. The watch on my brother's wrist suddenly felt heavier. Seventh move, control. "I'm restoring the account to its terms," I added. Tonight, I tapped once, then again. The attorney's confirmation chimed like a bell. Legal, controlled, finished. My father stood up too fast. The chair scraped. His face did something strange, like it couldn't decide which emotion to wear. "You wouldn't," he said loud now. In front of everyone. I kept my voice level. "You already did." He reached for the phone. I pulled it back, gentle as a teacher correcting a child. "This isn't a game." The room fractured. Questions, gasps. Someone said my name like a warning. My brother stared at the watch, then at me, then at our father. The magic trick was over. Everyone could see the wires. You think you're better than me? My father hissed. No, I said. I think you underestimated me. He tried anger, then charm, then volume. None of it worked because the rules had changed and he hadn't. He read them. I explained only what was necessary: the trust, the terms, the pause, the audit. I offered him a path that preserved dignity if he took it now. He collapsed into the chair, smaller than I'd ever seen him. The smirk was gone. In its place, fear, naked and unfunny. We finished dinner. The food tasted better without the noise. People avoided his eyes. They asked me for water, for plates, for permission they'd never needed before. Power doesn't announce itself. It rearranges the room. When I stood to leave, he didn't stop me. At the door, I looked back once, not to gloat, to seal it. You taught me a lot, I said, just not what you meant to. Outside, the cold cleared my head. Snow fell like a reset button. I learned that night that boundaries aren't walls, they're exits. Justice doesn't have to shout. And the most devastating revenge is letting someone watch the world stop bending around them. I didn't cry. I went home lighter, carrying nothing I hadn't chosen.